Yeah.
And we're here. We're back. Episode 4 already. Who would have thought it? Sorry, I was just trying not to think about the conversation we just had. That's probably not the best way to open the
No, I think it might be a good start.
You never know. Lick, lick. That's all we need to tell everyone. Filth, utter filth. With that,
morning, ladies.
Yeah, and we've all know. Well, me and Ali have definitely noticed a new thing that's occurring in the authoring world is, how do we put it? Scammers in our DMs. I mean, yeah. It's just, if it's like one week after another, it's like, what should we talk about this week? Oh, it's a scammer. Oh, it's AI. Oh, it's a scammer. What is going on in the world?
It's just like an influx. I don't know if it's like an influx of bots or what. But I mean, not even just in DMs, but like I'll post some marketing, and I'll get an account come up, and it's just literally, first of all, it kisses my ass about how great my book is that they've clearly never read. And then, oh, have you thought about making a book trailer? Have you ever thought about how you want to reach more readers? I'm just like, oh no. Yeah. So I hide the comments most of the time. But the worst ones are when you get a message from someone who you think is just a reader or another author saying that, oh, I really enjoy your books. Can we connect? And you think, yeah, of course, we'll have that conversation. And then boom, they've never read a fucking word of one of your books. And it's all just, again, to try and sell you something.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just, it's so frustrating because it's like, it's everywhere. It's not even, it used to be just like, oh, it's a TikTok thing, or, God forbid you commented on, I don't know, something around, I don't know, avoidant attachment, because then suddenly you just be an influx of, I can tell you're still in love with your ex. Would you like to get them back? Come and talk to Dr. Booker. And you're just like, oh, why? But now it's in everything. Now it's like they've realised, oh, people are not interested in the love bug scam. So when we move into, books, let's get into like authors and books, and just because I think the AI is kind of a part of this, because I think so many people think now that they can just, I just call myself an editor.
Yeah, or a marketer. That's what.
Yeah, or marketer. I'll just whack it all through AI and say, how would I market this? How would I do this? And then come back to you and say, well, that would be £550, please. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder if that is what this big influx is all of a sudden, is because people are realizing that AI can help them.
It's definitely been over the past month. There's been, it seems like a real steep rise of authors getting contacted by people. I say that because I think they're all bots or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly it is people. I wonder if it is that thing of like, when people used to cold call you with, oh, you've got a problem with your account, blah blah blah. I wonder if it's just those people now sitting in an office going, well, that everyone knows we do that now, so we'll find a new scam. We'll just go online and do all sorts of things.
I'm usually really good at spotting them, and I almost got taken a couple of weeks ago. I was contacted by somebody who had an Instagram page of all the books that they'd reviewed or whatnot, and they were supposed to be part of the book clubs on Amazon. So I went on Amazon and checked out these book clubs, and yes, they were there. Yes, they were real. Yada yada yada. And one of the reasons that I was like, maybe this is okay, is because I saw one of Rachel Lacey's books on their Instagram. So I was like, oh, okay then. So this seemed a bit legit. And they were telling me, if as soon as they said, if you pay for this, I was like, right, okay. So I really need to make sure this is something legit. As soon as they bring money up, I need to see if it's legit. So he started taking me through everything and sent me what was not a contract, but it's kind of a contract saying that they had to meet a certain criteria as part of the money that I'd pay. So I was like, right, okay. And then I said to him, well, before I decide to do anything, I'm just going to reach out to an author that I've noticed is on your page and just see what her experience was. I've never seen anybody backtrack as quickly as these people. And they were giving me the hardest sell possible to try and get me to send them money before I heard back from Rachel. And I didn't. I was like, no, I think you need to understand that this is money involved. I'm going to be careful because there's a lot of people out there trying to rip me off.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm glad I did, because Rachel got back to me. She says, I'm not a part of this. If you look closer, you'll see that the review is not actually about my book. It's not. I was like, right. And so I saved myself like €300 or whatever.
Yeah.
But people like that, they're tenacious, and they're quite they're skilled at getting you to look at things. Yeah, this is legit. And if it wasn't off the back of what had happened with Spree and Kane, I might have gone for it. But I was so not paranoid, but I was so trying to be so careful that. But what happens if that would have been a different author who was,
or even a newbie author?
You know, a newbie author who then sticking out €300 or dollars, whatever, or something that's bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I worry about a lot is, like you say, if they're so well run, these scams. You know, that they've been practicing it for years, haven't they? And they're able to, you know, if they're able to get little old ladies to empty their bank accounts, they can get a couple of £100 off of us. Do you know what I mean? Easily. But it is that thing of like, if I get any mail, you know, sometimes you get, I don't know, like, I think Podium contacted me years ago to say, oh, we're interested in doing your books. And I'm just like, I just don't trust anyone who contacts me.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I just find, but even now, I'm sort of thinking to myself, but even like if I go and contact somebody else, how do I know that's a real website now? Because they're so good at like faking everything and making it all look legitimate. And you do kind of think, I listen to some of the newbies talking sometimes, and they're like, oh, you know, I've paid out £3,500 for editing on my book, and I'm just like,
what?
Where? Who? What? Like, what kind of editing are you paying for there? Because that's a shit ton of money. Do you know what I mean? Like,
maybe that's something like, as established authors, not just obviously you two, but as a group, you could maybe get together and put something together that gives recommendations of who to use, who you've used in the past, even with narrators and everything else. And like you said, to just read over their books and everything. Put something together. I know it's time consuming, but I think maybe the newbies would really appreciate that, because then they know who they can trust and who they can't trust. Yeah. And you guys have been through it all.
Exactly. I think the only problem with that is that a newbie wouldn't necessarily know where to look for that, or to even look for it. Do you know what I mean? They just go on and they type in editing, and loads of people come up. And I think that, like you say, in mainstream writing, maybe they are spending that sort of money, because it's not just a quick edit. It's a editing, proofreading, line edit, copy edit. It's the whole package, which is fine. If you've got the money to do that go for it. Do you know what I mean? But if it's a legit person, but it just feels like a lot of the times when with these sorts of things, it's so easy to just go on and set yourself up with a little website and say, I'm an editor. And just take money off of people, and then, like I say, just run it all through AI, and then just go, here you go, here's your work back. Thanks very much for your £6,000. Do you know what I mean? You're like, God. And and marketing, because we all know we hate marketing. Nobody enjoys marketing. We're not very good at it. So you are like on the lookout sometimes for help in that direction.
Absolutely.
But
I think if a newbie author is already a part of the online community and has decided that they're already going to come into groups where authors are, or reader groups, they're more likely to ask, oh, does anybody know? And they'll get a lot of response. I've seen quite a lot, especially in Sapphic Quill. You get a lot of people coming there and asking things, and it's always answered. I think it's for the authors who are obviously writing, don't know about the online community where they can get help, and then are searching and getting ripped off.
It's a difficult one, but I think the thing, it's one of those other things that just kind of makes you like another thing of, why am I doing this? Just go and work in a shop and just not have any of this hassle, and just I don't want to work in it. I don't want to work. I don't want to get up.
I could never do that.
In the morning, that's my issue. I'm like, I was talking to someone this morning. And they were like, "What do you do for a living?" And I was like, "Well, I'm an author." Oh, that sounds exciting. I was like, "Yeah, it's nice, you know." And they're like, "What do you like about it?" I went, "Because I'm laying in bed at 10 o'clock having a cup of coffee."
Hence why we do this at 11.
Exactly.
Me and Ali are like, right, come on, let's get going.
Yeah,
Bringing it by 6 o'clock.
I wake up at ridiculous hours. I was awake at 5, but I was just like, I'm not getting up.
Oh no, actually, I chill in bed as long as I possibly can. Damn right.
I'm gonna just lay in bed and I'm gonna rot, as they say, and you know, because I get some of my best ideas just laying around.
That's it.
And I'm like, what do you want?
Do you know what? My favorite part of it is people who know that you work for yourself, so obviously you can make your own schedule and that. And they're really stressed at work and everything. Oh, you don't know what stress is. All the responsibility I have. And I'm like, but isn't that the goal in life, to have a job in life where you don't want to be stressed? Why would I be upset about the fact that I'm not stressed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm not a real worker if I'm not pulling my hair out. I'm like, well, actually, I do. It's just I do it a bit later in the day because I don't have to get up. You know?
I do it later in the day, and I do it with a bit less drama. And and if it all gets really overwhelming, I just go back to bed.
That's it.
Go back to bed. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to panic about it, and just, you know. So yeah, I just think, like, why do people want all that stress? Like, people, yeah, you're right. People are actually looking for stress, isn't it? They like it. They enjoy it.
It's almost like it validates you as a adult worker. You have to be stressed with life. You have to run off your feet. Which, to be fair, there's times when I'm doing editing or writing, I can be doing like 15, 16-hour days if I'm under pressure of something. But then there's weeks where I'm like, I don't really want to do anything this week, so I'm not going to.
It's probably more we're just jealous because we have to go to work because we're not talented enough to write and I mean, I love my job, don't get me wrong, but if I could just have my own time frame and do what I want to do and plan it, but you've still got to work, you still got to bring the money in, haven't you? So
apparently that's what you're supposed to do in life, but I say no to it, Leah.
That's it.
You'll be fine. Yeah. But anyway, enough of scammers, because we got something really exciting and special today. For those people out there that are still watching from first time round, before we decided to do all this again, you will remember that I did this with different co-hosts, and one of them has popped in to see us. So we're going to bring her in.
Story time.
I'm working it out and looking behind my light ring, and ta-da!
Hey.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Got
these two lunatics joining me, Leah and Ali. I don't know if you've ever met, but
No.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Did I come in and chat about scammers?
We were talking about, have you noticed, like, in your DMs lately, or just on your posts and things, it's constantly marketing people going, oh, would you like some help with some marketing? And you're like,
After they've told you how much they love your books that they've clearly never read.
That they've not read.
Yeah, any kind of follow-up question, and they're like, no, so we could offer you this.
You
haven't read it, you haven't even looked at who I am.
Exactly. I had one, she was all like, I can help you lift your book and blah blah blah, and I was like, I've already got 30 that are out there lifted. And she was like, sorry, how many have you got? I went, have you even looked? I said, maybe do your research before you DM people. Like, just nutty. But anyway, enough about those horrible people. How are you? What are you up to? What have you been doing? Tell us all.
I'm good. I mean, I'm a bit cold. I don't know if it's the same with you. In the north here, we got a bit of a chill today. It's actually woke up freezing.
Well, I'm warming up with coffee as usual, so we're all good.
Thinking. Yeah, that's actually it's good.
Ali, your turn. Have a drink.
I've like almost drained mine
So
already.
you have a drink, and then I'll have a drink, and then we can carry on. There we go.
This has to go the entire way
It's like a
around.
Mexican wave of coffee.
I've been good. I'm working on a story right now where this woman leaves her monastery to join a society studying folklore, and there falls for an older woman. So it's kind of like a toaster oven kind of gay awakening kind of story. So I'm kind of deep into agent edits with that.
Yeah.
So, not getting out much, just like stuck to the laptop, just on this, trying to get this right.
Because Emma's a professional author, she does proper writing. We were just saying that basically we wing it and we do a bit of work here and there, and then we just bugger off and do our own thing.
That sounds so much nicer than what I'm trying to do. I'm not gonna lie.
Your new book, is it more like a contemporary romance, or are you still in the fantasy kind of genre?
It's still fantasy. Yeah. I stopped writing contemporary romance. It just it didn't suit me, and I think that kind of came through. I'm much better if I can just make up a world and just add whatever I want into it and take out whatever I want. So no, it's still a fantasy story.
Fantastic. I mean, I can't do the fantasy. I don't have that range of imagination. Do you know what I mean? Like, I barely keep up with what the characters in my contemporary world are doing without trying to imagine mythical stuff and folklore. And
I'm the same. I could
what
never
did I call
write
that
fantasy.
person, that orc 15 pages ago? I've forgotten. Do you know?
I could never write fantasy.
I
love reading fantasy. I love reading fantasy. I couldn't write it, but I love reading it.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? The whole world building that people can do as well. And you decide, how do you even, I wouldn't even know where to start on anything. We've discussed this before about names and not being able to pronounce them as well, and just calling them random places in the UK that just helps out a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin on a whole new world. And I was going to say humans, they're not going to be humans, are they? But just like a whole community. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely giving yourself more work, but I'm better at making things up than researching real things. So if I'm sitting there writing contemporary romance, I'm like, oh no, she's like this high-flying solicitor. What the hell does she do? I have no idea.
It's true. So do you find like
make her an orc, it's easier.
Yeah. Do you find it's more fun because you can kind of have them do things that the real world can't even do, like fly or shape shift and sort of all this sort of stuff? Is that the part of it that kind of is exciting when you're creating your world?
Yeah, and I mean, I do like making a world as well, kind of figuring out if the sea is purple, why is the sea purple, and stuff like that. So I'm a bit nerdy with that kind of stuff, but also it does give a lot of scope. And if you have something that doesn't quite make sense, you just go, well, it's magic, isn't it? Doesn't have to make sense.
I do have this one where people will say, well, I can't believe you had them do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's fiction. It's made up anyway. Even in the real world made stories, it's just made up. But some people can't get their heads,
isn't it? The whole point of books is to just fall into another world, whether you believe it or not. I don't sit there and go, no, that would never happen. I'd be like, well, for them, that would happen.
You don't nip on Google. You don't nip on Google Streets and start making sure that everything is exactly where you do you? Jesus Christ!
She said there was a lamppost there.
There is not.
However, I did with one of Claire's books because she set it in Lincoln, and I was like, what shop did she get that scarf from that's up by the cathedral? I don't know. There isn't even. I don't even know. I was like, well, there is no shop up there that.
It's because they're made it up.
You run into someone living there, and it's a problem. Or someone who is a solicitor and goes, I don't do that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They then tell you things like, no, I just sit at my desk writing paperwork. It's not even exciting. And then you're like, how am I going to put that in a book and make that exciting? So
that's not going to be sexy.
And definitely not sexy. I find I'm trying to I just keep everything really closed down. So I might say they work in an office, but I don't really say what they do.
But Do you know what, Claire? I'm kind of the same. I'm a little bit careful with details because I'm just like, I don't know if I can give my brain that much research to make sure it's that spot on. And you'll always find somebody who picks it apart. No matter how much detail you add, they'll say, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of love and hate when you find a reader who's smarter than you. And they go like, what if this seems weird, but maybe it's because of this reason, and you're like,
Yes,
it's because of that reason. I definitely thought of that too.
Yes, that, to be fair, that's quite often that I find readers that are smarter than me.
Yeah,
I keep it very, very basic in my books. I'm not trying to Shakespeare people here. That's what I mean. But it is that thing. I think, like, I would just literally forget everything I'd put in, 3 chapters ago, and just be like, oh no, I'd be on Canva for 6 months building my map. Like, I would, you know what I mean? I would have every single character. I'd have to have a little sketch of them or something, like everything. I would not have that imagination to be able to see it in my head, because I don't see things in my head. So
I think that's probably a big difference.
Yeah, I think that's massive.
Is it aphantasia?
Yes, something like that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I very much do, and I think that helps if you're writing fantasy. I can see it all in my head. It's just that you have to remember what's in your head.
But why can't I take a screenshot of it and hold it there and then
file it somewhere and just like be able to retrieve it easily?
Then rewatch it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be. That's like that film. Have you seen that program, Years and Years? And then it's just slightly in the future, and one of the kids in it has this thing where she's got Actually, she has an eye implant, and then she can do screenshots and stuff. It's in her head, and I was just like,
oh my God. It won't be long.
I might need that. I might actually need that. That would be really helpul. Because
mine would only be used to find my glasses, so that I would take a screenshot of where I put them and then go like this morning.
Yeah, or where the phone is. It's like
just regular adulting. That's all.
Basically, we're all hit an age where we can't remember anything.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But so, Emma, are you going to be out and about anywhere that people can come and find you, see you, talk to you?
Not at the moment. I've kind of done my stuff because my last book, Snowblooded, came out in paperback in May. So I did a few things then. So now I'm kind of like back into writing and editing mode. However, Snowblooded might be, how much can I say without saying too much? Making someone angry. Snowblooded might be coming out to America soon. Okay. So I'll be doing more kind of, I think, online podcasts. I don't think no one's shipping me to America for a tour, put it that way.
Shame. A nice little holiday would have been nice, but
yes, thank you. Yeah, but yeah. But no, so it'd probably be online. But if and when that happens, then I might be doing more stuff online, and then you can find everything on my social media. It's just Emma Sterner-Radley.
They can just search your name, find your socials, find your website, etc., and then
there'll be info on there.
Chinwag with you and catch up.
Yeah, as long as I remember to update things. I mean, that's the next.
Well, like, oh damn, I've got a book out and I haven't done my website. Yeah.
Tell someone.
This is the other part of marketing we were talking about before you got here, was how difficult it is. So when these scammers do pop up going, oh, I can help you with marketing, you almost want to be like, grab them and be but it's just it's not fun. But
no, I mean, it gets really weird because I've obviously been indie published and self-published before, and now I'm with a traditional publisher, and they was like, oh, we're going to team you up with your publicist. And I was like, my what now? And she's like, so what are we doing for your marketing? And I was like, I was just gonna try and be online and chat about it a lot.
Post a few pictures.
Yeah, go, please.
Hope somebody took pity on me and shared it.
Just buy my book, please.
Someone buy. So no, there's a whole new world. of kind of like trying to figure out these things.
That is fantastic. It is fantastic. I'm so pleased for you as well that it's all taken off and everything, and you've got your new direction to be going into. Although I was kind of half expecting a box on the head when you appeared, because I did have a little look back at our last ones of these, and we have a chuckle at the
I need to rewatch those. There was a lot of really interesting stuff that came out of that.
It was quite funny. You could definitely tell that we were all locked in our houses and hadn't seen people for quite a while.
Yeah, not doing well. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But we're going to let you go because you have a cat to take to the vets.
Yes, I need to go to the vets of all joys.
Yes. Say a big hello to Amanda for us, and we will catch up soon.
And thank you so much for having me on. And I will make sure to watch all the episodes and see what advice you got. I'm sure I can learn something.
I don't know if it'll be advice.
I don't think there's going to be anything you're going to take away from this.
No, I don't take anything away from this.
If nothing else, entertainment, right? We all need to just chill for a bit and have some fun.
That's all we aim to be, is slightly humorous, maybe have a little rant every now and then, give people something to talk about.
That's part right.
Basically, just that's pretty much it. So,
well, so I look forward to seeing it, and I'm sure it'll be awesome.
We will say we will bye bye to you.
Really good
I know.
I
And then he's gone, just like magic. It's mad, isn't it? I love all this. I mean, I've got like a little control freak going on now.
That's how it all starts.
Anytime I fancy it, any lip and you're out.
Leah, you're annoying me. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Right, that's it. Leah's being miserable. She can't find the glasses. Chuck her out. So, bloody hell. We've been here for 30 minutes already. 25. Wow. 25 minutes of yapping. It just flies by. I quite like this. We have to get more guests on. Who should we have next? We'd have to get people to put their little hand up and say, "No, I want to come on."
We
so we'll be like, nah.
Trolling for some guests.
I think if we want the shock factor, we're going to get Crystal on, because that.
But that might have to be done like later in the day, because she literally doesn't wake up until about now, and
True.
Until she's
and
medicated.
Also, we might have to put a warning on it.
It's like 18 plus.
Maybe 35 plus.
No, just a disclaimer to say that we're not held liable for anything that's said or done on.
We're not. We have definitely yes, all of that. Oh, bless. So, right, what's on our list next? Oh, it's Aly with information on Queer the Shelves, where we will.
So for anybody who is listening, in a couple of weeks' time, in about 3 weeks' time now, on the 28th of June, so 26 days, there's going to be a mass of authors descending on Nottingham Library. I love that. It's like really dramatic. when we're really just all introverts, we can be like, anyway.
All the readers will get there and they'll be like, "Is that it?"
Yeah.
I thought they were all like, "Woo!" And we bigged it up, and they're all just hiding.
Bunch of readers, hoping that hoping some readers will turn up and will be nice to us.
Yeah,
always.
There's going to be some chats. There's going to be some panels. I'm still not entirely sure of the whole process yet, because I think we're still waiting on.
Yes, we're still waiting on our updates, but I mean, if it's based on last year, it's all quite simple, moves along nicely. We all get there. All the tickets are sold out, I believe. So we don't have to worry. There will be readers there.
Now just be full of authors. Everyone's got a ticket. They can't get one.
All the authors have got the tickets. Yeah. So it's really nice, because I don't know. Have you been to Nottingham Library before? Anyone?
I've not. No. I mean, I live just up the road from Nottingham.
Yeah,
it's nice library.
It's quite a newish building, isn't it? It's quite quite a contemporary,
modern. Yeah,
lots of glass, lots of light. It's really like we go up the stairs, and if they're in the same place as last time, it's got a separate little room, which has got all the seating and everyone.
Quite a big room as well, isn't it? It's quite long and. Yeah, plenty of room.
Yeah, it's big enough, but it's little compared with, it's not the entire size of the library.
Yeah.
And so that you can kind of sit in there, and Nick and Vic will be there to greet us, and they're very easygoing and friendly, although they'll probably be a bit like running around trying to organize everything, but that's cool. That's part of organizing these things. And then it's just like panels on and off, and just kind of chilling and chatting and networking and catching up with people. And
it's very well organized as well, isn't it? Well, last year it ran really smoothly. It was like you knew where you needed to be, what was happening.
Exactly. Teas and
I'm quite
coffee.
excited because this is like my first real author event of any kind.
Really?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm surprised.
You're going to waltz in there like you own it.
I'm going to bosh it.
You can do it front, Ali, when we all walk in, because just a heads up, we're sharing a house together, so I don't know what condition any of us are going to come in either.
That is true. I was chatting with Charlie the other day on our, oh my God. I said, do you fancy going for a coffee, which ended up being a lunch, right? And then we got there, we had lunch, and we were chatting for so long, we had dinner.
Nice.
And I think I left 7 hours later.
They're the best kind of meetups, aren't they? Because it just flows and you just get on with it. Yeah.
Exactly. It was great. So yeah, we were planning our trip up, because obviously because she's over in Eastbourne and I'm in Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna drive across and meet her in Brighton.
Yeah.
And just leave my car dumped on a street somewhere. and she's gonna drive, although I think I'm going on the insurance. So hopefully I'll be helping her out in that. And then we'll drive up, and so we will probably get there Friday afternoon. I don't know, I'll have to check actually what time we can get into our house. We are flat sharing with a lot of us, so it'll be good. It's normally about 3 o'clock, isn't it? They normally let you in.
Like that, yeah.
Thinking about then.
So yeah, I'm sure you guys will be heading off in your own, from your directions. Whoop, 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 over the
Well,
seas.
we've got a nice 11-hour drive. So
yeah, you're going to go like literally getting up on Friday morning and driving over.
No, we're getting up. Thursday. We'll drive from our house to Calais, which will take about 5.5 hours, 6 hours. Then we'll stay over in Calais for the night, and then we'll come over and drive straight up to Nottingham. So we just break it up a little bit.
Should be all right.
Cool. You'll just be staggering through the door then. And I'm off to bed for a bit. See you later.
Because do you know what? As long as I get some sleep the night before, no problem. No problem.
We shall see.
We might be chitty chatty all night and keep you waiting. And then you'll be going, will you lot just fuck off? You've promised wine, so I mean, God,
I'm bringing wine. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, like anything can happen.
Don't you worry about that.
We've got wine. We'll have cheese,
sausages.
How wild do you think? I'm
little,
quite happy to bring Cards Against Humanity as well to really fuck over the night. So depends how wild you want to get.
Bring it. Let's see what happens.
Do it. We can always say no.
Listen, last time I played it was with Crystal, so that's the kind of level that it's at. It was hilarious.
I've only ever played it once. It was a constant. I was like,
I'll constantly be.
Can I say that?
It's cringy. It's cringy, and it's morally very, very grey.
Love it. I love anything that's morally wrong.
It is very, very wrong.
It'll be brilliant. Yeah, I think it'll be lovely. We'll have a nice, quiet evening on
adult evening, sophisticated evening, ladies.
Sophisticated evening of drinking wine, nibbling cheese, and playing board games.
And staggering Saturday morning, like
out of the way, no videoing.
I don't know, I might.
We will not be going live.
No mobile phones allowed.
Oh yeah, we could do some live moments.
I think that would be great at the time, and we will greatly regret that in
You
the morning.
regret it the next day. Yes.
Well, it will be if we all end up just like asleep on a sofa somewhere, like 9 o'clock. We've all just done. Well, that was exciting, wasn't it?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, bigging this up, but I bet we'll be like, no, I'm too tired. I just want to.
I'm going to go and read in bed
I
now for
cannot
half hour.
wait for
See you
this.
later.
I can't wait for this because, like, every time I've done these in the past, I've like travelled up on my own, done the event, gone home. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of been it. So like this is almost like, I don't know. I feel a bit like a teenager going on there.
Nice little weekend away, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going on like a.
To be honest with you, it has been a long, long time since I've been around a group of queer women to be able to have that, because all of my friends in the UK are straight. Like I have no queer friends, so this is wonderful to be able to be around queer people and just have a laugh and have a joke and be able to say jokes that aren't going to make the straighties go. You know what I mean?
You mean jokes that me and Leah sit there going.
It did take you a little bit of time this morning.
I've got it. Yeah.
I did not get that joke. I was like, please, can you explain it to me?
I'm a bit too quick for the pair of you. Good God.
I think it was, like I said, you were awake an hour earlier than us and we hadn't had enough coffee yet. But once I got it, I was like, got it. Yes. We won't
There's just me in the background going, what? I don't get it. Wait, what?
Tell me what it means.
Just my adolescent brain at work there.
But you know what? There's always one of those in a group, isn't there?
There's always
Totally.
You have to explain it to.
A dirty joke could be made out of something, I'm going to be the one to promise you that.
I'm all up for that because usually my mind goes to filth. And
well, we know Leah's does.
Yeah, we know Leah's does. And but normally, you know, I spend most of the day on my own, so nobody benefits from my filth. From my
I get it.
I sit here smirking at stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's no one. No, nobody's got that.
Just what that pitch was.
That's it.
We'll try and get it. We'll try and be like, what? It must have been funny at the time. You had to be there, maybe.
Yeah. If there's anything funny in my books, it's because I've literally sat there and thought that on by myself and didn't have anyone to tell. So I thought, character can say that then.
I sit there and write something funny and laugh at my own book.
Yeah.
My wife will come past, she's like, you've just written something that you found funny. And I'm like, yeah, because I find myself hilarious and I'm okay with it.
Exactly. I'm all good with it. I'm all good with finding myself funny.
Yeah.
It would just be fun to share it with someone occasionally. So maybe I'll just FaceTime you randomly and go blah blah blah. But yeah,
just record it and then we can just put it on here. We'll just be like, everybody can enjoy it.
Funniest moment.
Just have a montage of Claire just coming out with the shit she finds funny by herself.
Me and you.
And the rest of us sat there going, what?
Yeah, Leah's going, what?
What?
honestly. But yes, getting back to the event.
Yeah, just getting back to the event. We can't bring cheese over. I just need to let you know that it's been banned temporarily.
What is a brie?
That's just mean.
Well, we're currently foot and mouth going around Europe or something, so the British government have stopped cheese coming over.
Oh.
But wine. We're bringing wine and chocolate.
Bring wine and chocolate. And I'm picking up
Charlie.
No, not Charlie. No, food. I can't think what they're called.
Sorry.
Sausage rolls and pork pies. Mini pork pies. That's what I'm picking up. I'm getting them.
To bring because I don't know. What shall I bring?
Bring something healthy.
Something like an apple, just a bag of apples or something like that.
Of course, to go with the cheese, we'll have to buy at Tesco.
Now I've got to think about what we sell in our area that's like, I was going to bring some sausages.
And they sell cabbages up your way, isn't that what it is? It's cabbage.
I'll be out in the field. I'll be out in the field digging them up for you.
Yes, yeah, I think.
Potatoes, sausages. Got an obsession with sausages for some reason.
Just pull up in a side road and just nick a load out of a field.
Oh, yeah. That's what we all do around here. Nobody buys any.
Nobody buys anything. No one does the economy.
Just shop alongside a field, get our shovels out and our wellies on. Look up across the fields, digging our potatoes up and cabbages.
Exactly. That's what happens up north.
Oh, not that far.
What area are you?
Lincolnshire. It's not really the north.
Well, that is.
I mean, it's like above Peterborough and over towards
right. I know where Nottingham is. Go from there.
From where?
Is
Nottingham.
East, is
Up a bit, skew off to the right.
The slight angle.
Yeah.
So it's about an hour from Skeg Vegas and Mablethorpe.
Yeah, she's the closest to Nottingham out of all of us.
I'm only like an hour away. Just over an hour.
Trip to the shops. You know.
Yeah. I still managed to stay over last year. I was like, I'm having a hotel night.
Yeah.
It's going to take me an hour to get home. I'm not coming home.
Why the hell not?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. So we've got 2 nights. 2 nights in our little Airbnb.
So the Sunday we leave, I'm going to see my sister for brunch, and I've had to promise her that I'm not going to turn up hungover.
Oh, why would you do that?
Well, to be fair, we have got to then drive down to Devon, so I can't. I do need to be a little bit sensible.
Okay. So Saturday's going to be more civil, is what you're telling us?
Yes, I think so, because I do also have
just with more water involved.
Yeah, I have to be on the road reasonably early on the Sunday because bloody Jason Manford changed his dates. I'm not happy about it.
Oh, you have to see him Sunday night?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
In Bournemouth.
I like Jason Manford.
Well, I like Jason Manford.
I'll let you go. Yeah, you can go and see him. I'll allow it.
It was supposed to have been like 3 weeks ago or something in Bournemouth, which was perfect. We had a lovely weekend planned. We had a hotel booked. We were going to have a really nice night. And then last sort of minutes, it was all cancelled. And then they've put up, new date.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. Because me and Charlie had the plan. We were going to leave Nottingham.
Yeah, weren't you going to go football or something?
Yeah. We were going to drive to Leicester and we were going to go and watch the England Lionesses play Jamaica. And we were like, yes, we're up for that. And we would have had a whole weekend out. But now I'm like, sorry, mate, that's cancelled. I've got to get home. So
and you've got to take me.
Yeah. And you're driving. So basically, you're coming with me. So we've got to drive all the way back down to Brighton, pick my car up, hoping it hasn't been stolen off the street and stripped for parts. Who knows?
Wheels and everything.
Do you know what I mean? And then drive myself up to Bournemouth. Yeah. So I'm going to be absolutely
full-on weekend for you.
And then obviously Monday morning we should be recording this again pretty much.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be on holiday in Devon.
So we might have to.
Why don't we just cheat? Why don't we just do some videos while we're there? Like obviously talking to other authors, readers as well, and then just put it together and make that our.
There you go, watchers and listeners. That's what's happening next time, okay?
Authors, if you want to promote your books, make sure you can find one of us.
I did think maybe we could do something from Nottingham. We can find a quiet corner where we can just kind of set our phones up. And
a quiet corner? Have you heard how loud we all are? You can have the quietest corner in the library. You're still going to hear all of it.
But they'll know where to come. They'll be like, that's the fun corner. We're off over there.
Yeah, we can basically make it a free-for-all that anyone who's there who wants to come on the podcast that day can just
sit down, have a chat, bugger off.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, to be honest.
Anything, or do you know what? I'm going to talk to you after it. I've just come up with a brainiac idea. But we need to work it on it.
I'm not wearing like a chest cam or anything, just wandering around with it.
No.
Oh.
Better than that.
Okay.
I think it'd be more fun and interactive than that. It could be a giggle.
Right.
We could break the internet, but who knows?
Is it getting them to play Cards Against Humanity? They get card each.
I'm not going to spoil it for everyone because if I say it now and then we don't do it, everyone will go.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Right, okay.
We'll play.
Just remember it then.
Yeah. So I'm like,
write it down now. Remember.
Write it down so you remember it.
in the brain. Just remind me that I've got to tell you something in a minute. So
God.
Fucking
hell. Right, I'll write it down.
Pretty blind leading the blind, isn't it?
Oh my God! Right, honestly, let's move on. Leah, what are you reading? Reading?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I've had a bit of a weird because I've been on holiday last week. Yeah. My plan was to go over Claire's new book, but I was on holiday with my spawn, my mum, and the dog, and I was kind of like, I'm not going to get a moment to actually concentrate on this properly. So I decided to do like a comfort reread, on my list. So I went with one of Rosalind Sinclair's classic books that we all kind of love and enjoy being in. So I did Above All Things. I reread that. And I also, hang on one second, just before that, here we go. Right, we're ready.
She's the only one prepared out of us all. Go on. What have you got?
Only because I've got notes here, but I won't go by them. They're just kind of like, just quick glance. Here we go. Alison Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I reread that. Sorry?
I just read the title out. That was all. When Ellie.
Oh, okay. So that's set in Moonflower Cove. So it's a series.
Okay.
I've read most of them. For some reason, there's just too many books around at the minute. So I keep kind of like going, I really need to go back and read some more from that series. But I've been sidetracked a lot. And then there's a lot of demanding authors chucking other books at me. One that comes out in 2030 by Alison. So
2030? She's already that far ahead.
She's being dramatic and she's being salty about it.
She is. We can find other readers, you know.
I do this to myself every month. I'm so sarcastic, and then I get threatened with being chucked out. Anyway, so I thought I need to go back and read some more in that series because it's actually a really good series. It's so you've obviously got this Cove area, and there's one main family called the Mackenzies. They've got quite a lot of children. So you've got all their family dynamics going on. Ellie, I think, is the fourth child in their 5-children family. And that's set in high school. And then one of the other characters that she kind of ends up with is also a child from another family that's in the Cove that she's only moved there the last couple of years. And then two other characters from one of the books got together. So she stayed there with her mum now. So it's all very interlinked.
Yeah.
And it's a fun, nice series. And I thought, you know what, I need to catch up on what's going on in there. So I did that. But like I said, it's been a little bit hit and miss the last couple of weeks trying to sit down properly. And then I've been abusing Claire over her latest book last night, even though I was being abused, being told, hurry up, otherwise it'll be out before you finished reading it.
Yeah, I had to give her a jog. I was like, get a move on, woman. Like, I promised this to my editor. She's sitting there waiting on the farm, waiting for something.
Well, Joe, because of that, I've managed to sneak.
She snuck in again. She nicked my slot.
She did.
I'm like, whatever. I tell you.
Yeah, but you see, Ali got me all excited and then told me when this book is released. And I was like, are you kidding? That's why I made the 2030 joke.
You know, listen, we all know that Ali is like, and written, done. She's got 15 million books on the go in one.
Ain't that bad? Come on now.
I can't focus on more than half a sentence, and Ali's got 15 books going. You know? I don't know what happened because I used to be you, Ali. I used to have 15 books on the go, and now I'm like, no, I can only do the one. Finish it. But yeah,
everybody's different, aren't they? You know, you're both the same level of writer, you just do it differently. It's just Ali just gets in there and chucks like 5 at me to your 1, you know. It's like,
but I think like it's also it's that peaks and troughs, isn't it? It's like at the moment I can only focus, get it done, get one done. But I am starting to get that itch to start something else as well, which like I say, I used to always be I'll do 2 hours on this one and then I'll do an hour on this one, and you know, and if something else come along, I'd just jot it down, and then before you know it, you had 4 or 5 books on the go. So yeah, I'm probably will go back round to doing that at some point, and then Ali might decide to have a week off. I mean, who knows?
To be fair, Jesus, last year when I wasn't well, I had months off. You know, but it was because I was far enough ahead that I was able to do that and not stress myself out. So
yeah, and that is the best part of it. It's like at the moment, like you say, if I'm set on deadline, so if I don't have the book out, I'm like, you know. Whereas if I had the extra one, then you're like, well, it's not so bad. I can just chuck that one out and just keep rolling, you know. But yeah, it is quite fun. It's the only part of my life where I will allow somebody to abuse me.
This morning I was like, when I got there, oh, okay. I was like, oh no.
Okay. That's the other thing I hate with text though, because I will be going, oh, okay. Whereas you might go,
oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. No, like I say,
Nothing wrong with the book. I would just like to point that out. There's nothing wrong with the book.
There's nothing wrong with the book, reader. It's going to be great.
Carrie, there's nothing wrong with the book.
No, the point of a beta reader is to, like we were saying earlier, is to get your opinion on it, so that if there is anything that we've just not quite tightened up enough, or not just hit the spot with, or I don't really get what, like you said, that I've mentioned a character's name and you're like, well, is that because? And I'm like, actually, no, it was just a way of showing this.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just want to show that the main character is she's not a bitch. Do you know what I mean? She's quite decent and she's nice. And I thought it was a nice way of doing it. But like you say, yes, actually, as a reader reading it, I didn't see it. That you're now looking and going, well, where's this person going to appear in the book? And she doesn't appear again.
Well, but also I was like, oh, is this a segue to, we're going to find out why that's happening? Is this going to be the next book or in the series?
Exactly. So for me, it's little things like that I didn't even, it wouldn't have even dawned on me as to be like, oh, somebody's going to think of something more of that than what I did.
No, because in your head, that's what's happening. Whereas
exactly. And so the whole, for me, I've had it in the past where you kind of put the book out to people, and then people, maybe they don't feel like they can say, oh, I didn't like this, or I didn't like that, or that character needs this or needs that. And so you end up with everyone just going, oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, great. And you're like, oh, brilliant. Oh, I'm a fantastic author. I don't need to do anything. I just chuck it out there. And then suddenly you get reviews going, well, I didn't like this. And you're like, what? Yeah. So
sometimes, like when I've read a book, though, and there genuinely isn't anything major that I can pinpoint, then it becomes hard, because you don't, like you said, you don't want people thinking you're just blowing smoke up your ass. You want to know. But sometimes I'm like, I have nothing. This worked. There was nothing major that I thought, oh, I didn't like this, or I didn't understand that. It's just that was a really good book and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think that's because, again, there are times when actually you kind of do want a bit of smoke blown up your ass if you've actually done it. If you've actually created something that didn't need any extra work, then it's nice to know that you've done that. And it also means that I will take you more seriously when you do tell me something is great, because I know that you are happy to say, didn't like this bit, or didn't like that character, or she sounded this way, or whatever. So but when everybody's just going, oh yeah, it's great, that's lovely, I'm pleased you enjoyed reading it, but what's not great about it? You know what I mean? Because there's always something, generally 99% of the time.
Well, somebody's always going to pick up on something that maybe it didn't bother me that wasn't there, or I picked up on something that I've said, well, that side of the family wasn't involved as much, or what happened to that friendship group, or but somebody else might not even pick up on that because that's not an issue for them.
Some people are a lot more logical than other people. So some people might read it, but read way too much into what wasn't supposed. You know what I mean? So they're looking at it logically, and then you're like, it didn't need to go that. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, dealing with different people. You're going to read your book. As long as a beta reader can come along and say, look, I found a gaping hole, or no, this just didn't make sense, because that's what it needs to be about, isn't it? You need to know if you've missed something, or something's not clicking.
But it's like you said, because you guys have reread over it so many times, it kind of like
and also I'm not a plotter. Like, I literally wing it. I literally start writing the book, and then I just go along, and then I'm like, oh, I know what would have been good, and then I go back and I add something in, and I come back along. So I think, because I think I've changed everything that correlated to what it was I've added in. But sometimes, like you say, I've gone and done that so many times that I've reread that passage 15 times. It now is imprinted in my head of what I think it says. And actually doesn't necessarily always read that way to somebody new, putting new eyes on it. So, that's when those those plot holes pop up, because you go, well, you've mentioned this, but then you've never said what it was about, you know. And you're like, yeah, that's true. I didn't. Yeah, because in my head, I know what it was. Do you know what I mean? In my head, I filled the gap, but I just haven't put it down onto the paper, and I need for somebody else's eyes to spot it and go, there's a hole there, fix it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great, but it is quite funny. It's just like, God, that's not perfect. But I love it because it means when it does go out, it will be nearer perfect.
Yeah.
So,
I can honestly say that once I finished writing in progress, it goes to one of my beta readers first, and then I don't touch it for ages because I've had enough of the story. If I don't have a break from it, all I do is pick its pieces straight away. If I have enough of a break and then come back and be able to reread it and take the notes that a beta reader says, I can apply what has been said.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're just reading the same thing over and over. And yeah, like my first 3 books, I hate them. I hate reading them because I've read them so many goddamn times. I'm just like, you can't do any more after a while.
Yeah.
So I end up always having to leave a gap. Always have to be like, no. It's like the erotica story that's coming out in September. I wrote that months ago and I've not touched it. I wrote it, sent it to one beta reader, didn't touch it for months, and then I sent it to Leah. It's come back, and now we're in the process because I'm coming up on the deadline and whatnot, that it'll go to my editor and whatnot. And it's only now that I'll start getting back into that story again, because otherwise it's just
it's just a refresh then, isn't it? It's like rereading books. Like I have a list of comfort reads that, like Scarlet and all that kind of thing, and I'll go back, and obviously it's not the same as reading the book the first time.
No.
But you kind of reread it again with different eyes, I think, sometimes, because you can pick out more. But you've had that gap between it, so it is like reading a whole new book again.
When you go back over your own stories, though, you're not coming at it as a reader. You're coming at it as the writer, and it's very different. So I'm not reading it and feeling comfort when I read it. I'm reading it and being analytical of it. And there's only so many times that you can analyse something and go over and over before you feel like your brain's breaking.
Yeah, because you're constantly looking at like literally every word of a sentence, going, what can I change that to? What's a better word to use there? Like, how can I make my vocabulary feel more clean and better? You know, and then it comes back from the editor, and there's why don't you do this and you do that? And you're like, oh, damn it, why didn't I think of that? You know, and then but it's good because you're learning from each person that it goes to.
Absolutely.
You know, when like my first books literally used to go to my friend who was editing. You know, and yes, she's an author and she's got an English degree and stuff, and we would talk about stuff. But she was the only person I had to have those conversations with. Whereas now I've got like a whole group of people who are at different aspects of the book. So there's you guys that do the beta reading. You know, I've extended that, so I've got a couple more doing that now as well. Then it goes into editing, where it comes back and it's like there's some more suggestions, and you know, and then I've put it through like the Grammarly app type thing, and got help from that as well. So there's lots more that as you become more sort of established, you can maybe afford a little bit more, and you can, you know, I mean, I was lucky Grammarly had us 50% off, 60 quid. I was like, I'll have that, thank you.
I've got to say, my books now are far more streamlined from me writing to it going to my first beta, then it goes to my developmental editor, which comes back. Then I don't have to read through it. I can go through her notes, add what I want to. It comes back again. I send it straight out to my line and copy editor because I don't want to read it again. They come back and do what they need to do. Then I will read it again myself to make sure I'm happy with it. Then it goes to a proofreader, and then it goes out. So, but before my very first book, I had nobody did anything. So I read my first book so many times that when I early this year, when I reproofed all of my first books, and they went to my editor, they went to and did the process again. By the time it got back to me, I had notes, and I just looked at them and was like, I don't care. I do not care anymore. I don't care.
Moving on.
I don't want to develop her. I don't want to develop them. No, it was done. So done.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever get like that again with my books, because then it becomes a chore. But
Yes.
this streamline approach is definitely helping.
Yes, it is definitely. Yeah, I think because I can read my books months after they've been done, and then I can read them as a reader, and then I am like, oh, you're not that bad.
quite a good book, actually.
I enjoyed that. Do you know what I mean? Because I've taken my author head off of it, and I'm just reading it. But it has to be months later, you know. Yeah. And occasionally I'll go back and reread them because I want to bring a character from one into something else, you know. So like when I was doing Euphoria, I had to go back and read Escape and Freedom, and I was like, oh, I love these characters, but for me, there's a lot of typos and grammar. Yeah, and so it is that thing of like, you can see hopefully where your journey has progressed. And I would like to go back and redo all of mine, but the cost levels on that are just astronomical. I'm not sure that I could ever afford it.
No, I mean,
bit by bit, maybe I will do some of them.
I kind of bit the bullet now because I think this is like my 13th book, and I didn't want to go any further than that because I wouldn't be able to afford to do anything. So I think the first 10 is what I did. And yes, it's been costly, but I'm glad that I've done it now, and I don't ever have to think about them ever again. And going forward, now that I've got a nice group, a nice team, I like how it works. I know that I don't have to go back and do it all over again. So it just worked.
Yeah,
it's finding for me.
I've got the added issue as well, is that I lost all my manuscripts for my first probably 15 books because I had a corrupted what you call it. So I technically have them because my first editor but she used to do them as each chapter. She would edit a chapter and send it to me. So I'd have to go through all of those emails and rebuild. And I just was like, oh, I just can't. I've left it. So that's why I was saying to you, is there any way I can go and take them?
There is, and we need to get that done.
Yeah,
so that
we need to do that. Maybe I'll come over to France for a weekend.
Do that. Work your holiday. Save it on your tax.
Yeah, exactly. Tax breaks, working. But yeah,
some ideas.
Yeah, because once I do that, then once I've got them back as a saved document again, then I can, like you say, one at a time send them off to someone to just proofread that. I mean, I don't necessarily need to bother with the editing because I think I might just leave the story as it is, but just proofread it and just catch any things, or just even run it through Grammarly, you know what I mean, just to catch a few things and just tidy it up a little bit. But yeah, it's fun being an author.
There's so much to it though, isn't there? There's just
so much.
Like we said before, as readers, we don't know half of what actually goes into the process of it all. Obviously, the more that's quite nice because you guys are, like, if we message you or anything, you will talk to us. So we are learning as well. We're kind of, most of us try to learn that, you know, what the actual process is, so then we can understand it more and not just think, well, hurry up, why have you not knocked this next book out? What's taking so long? Why is there such a big gap between books? Because there's so much going on behind the scenes.
Exactly. I think that's why, you know, people get frustrated when they see these posts about, oh, what's the word you hate most in a book? You know, things like that. And then they get really annoyed that authors go on and are sarcastic about it and that. But it's like, seriously, most of my books have 70,000 words. Right, so occasionally in those 70,000 words there's going to be one you might not like, or you would have preferred I chose something different, or you know, somebody else doesn't like. It's like you can't obviously,
but what they don't understand it's like, for me, it'd be like their colleague or boss coming into their office and disregarding all the hard work that they've done and picking on something really silly over and over and over again.
Yeah,
it would drive you insane because you spend all that time doing so much effort, and somebody gets upset that you use the word moist or something. You know, whatever.
The thing is, right, what you never see somebody start a post with, "What's your favorite word in a book?"
Yeah.
It never starts. It's never a positive, and I think that's the
No.
thing that frustrates us. Is it's always let's find a negative that we can pick at authors with, and you're like, do you know what? The mainstream doesn't have this. You don't have access to authors in the mainstream the way you do in this genre. Do you know what I mean? And I think like these little groups of people, and it is a very minority of people that do it, but they're the loudest, and they're the ones that go online, and they're the ones who create these posts. And you just think, if you keep doing it, all you're going to do is make authors go, oh, I can't be doing
it. They'll just take a step back and won't engage in
this, you know, like I've done on Facebook. I can't be doing with it. I've got better things to be doing with my life, worrying about and being overwhelmed over, than what word somebody doesn't like in my books or in somebody else's books, or how, you know, they're upset because an author has.
I think if the space where they've posted is a reader only group, I think that's fine. Okay, if you're going to go in there as an author to a reader only group and then get involved in it, I think you're asking for trouble. If you go into a group that is reader and author, expect there to be pushback on both sides. You know, now after, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, when it all was blowing up again, you took a step back, Claire, and I took a step back, and I will only post now when I do marketing, and then I don't read or do anything else, because I don't want to be involved in that.
No,
I put a couple of the groups on silent so that I have to go to the page. It doesn't just come up on my home, because I was getting to the point it would pop up and I was like, oh my God, here we go again. And it, for the reader as well, you know, you can like just read the book. If you don't like it, that's fine. But I got to the point I was like, I can't be bothered reading this again. And then I was getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated for authors, obviously not just you guys, but other authors. And then I'd end up like having a sarky comment or snapping, and then it would turn into this big, and I'd sit there thinking, why am I doing this? I just put them on silent, and I have to go to the page now to see what's actually going on there.
It's really weird, isn't it, how social media can pull that part of your personality out, where like,
oh my God, it absolutely targets like toxic traits in human beings.
I'm all for. Like, I love a good debate. Like, me and my mates will sit around, we'll talk about all sorts of things, and I'll often play devil's advocate and argue, just to create the conversation. But we never end up in a we're not talking to each other situation, or oh, you're an arsehole, you don't know. We don't call each other names and things like that. And there's a lot of times where I can just, you know, I'm more of a sort of sit back and just watch rather than partake. So I don't always have to be in the conversation. But as soon as I go online, it's like I feel pulled into like, no, I'm going to stand my ground and argue that, you know. And I'm just like, that's not me. That's not who I want to be.
No.
And so, I'm just like, I'm pulling back from it. I use my Patreon page. I love my Patreon page because it's just people who do want to talk to me, who are interested in me, and I'm interested in them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just random people rocking up for a conversation, or just to spoil the day or to have an argument. It's proper. We can have conversations about anything. Nobody's rude to each other. It doesn't get heated. It's just really lovely. And you know, but all the rest of it, I post a picture now and then. I might make a quick comment about a book that's coming out, but generally I just have no interest in it. It's just,
and then it's kind of sad, isn't it? Because then readers, because you guys have been so open and chatted with people, you're now getting to the point where you just don't want to. It's kind of like, because what is that going to kick off if you say something? I just
Last week, when was the last one? It was over bottled water. It's just like the world's falling to shit in a fucking.
There's so many more things we could be discussing here.
Yeah, you know, I just was just like, I just can't keep doing this because it's.
You should be, and because we've got so many other shit to be doing in our lives, as well as writing the books that they want written. You know, that we need to be writing, that we want to do, because I became a writer because I love to write. That's what it's all about. And I don't want the majority of my life to be then miserable because I've got to the marketing's already miserable as it is, but then I don't want to then get pulled into conversations that just make you feel crap about everything. It just takes over the joy of what you're doing. I don't want to do that.
Quite often I've just said, why don't you write your own book? Show me what you can write. That's, you're sitting there pulling all these authors apart, but I don't see you getting out there writing your own book. So
you end up just arguing against nothing. There's no arguments.
Because again, let's be clear, it's a small minority of people.
It is a small minority.
Majority of readers are fantastic and they're lovely and they want to engage, and and they do engage and they do it in the right way, and it's lovely. But it's just a shame that a few people are just kind of spoiling it. And it's not
it's their voices being louder at the moment. That's
exactly. It's and it's not about authors just don't want to hear anything negative about themselves. It's like, no, there's constructive conversation and feedback, and then there's just being an arse. I get lots of times, I will get a reader message me and go, I was really enjoying the book, but you mentioned blah blah blah, and then they want more information on it, or they want to tell me something about it, or they say, I don't think that would really have happened, or whatever. And you can have a lovely conversation with them in a DM or an email. It doesn't go toxic, it doesn't become nasty.
I love it when somebody says authors just don't want criticism. If they realise we spend 3 to 6 months before the book has come out only getting criticism to make it better, they realise we're really good at taking criticism, actually.
Yeah.
It's
true. By the time you've been through all the processes, you're like, bloody hell.
Jesus Christ, why do I do
this? I didn't have a rejection issue before, I've got one now. But yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, because once the book is out, it's not really much you can do about it. It's done.
Move on.
I'm not going to take the book down and change it because I've used a word that somebody doesn't like. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you're just going to have to suck it up. And I think that's the thing for me. It's like you say, we all read things and you might go, not for me. But I don't feel the need to go online and tell somebody, I've just watched your film and the way you took your clothes off in that film was just
didn't like it. Not right. No,
I didn't like it. Why have we become this society that feels the need that it has to put
because it's on
everything,
social media, because we're hiding behind screens. That's what it is.
We're not. We're fully visible.
We are fully visible.
Here we are, people.
On a positive note, what have you been doing writing wise? Well,
I may or may not have started some filth. I don't know.
What was the thing you shared the other day? You shared something the other day and it was proper. I was like, what is it? And then I got excited because I thought it was the book I was reading.
It was just a little poem I came up with, Leah. There was no more in that. Just a little thought for the day where my head was at, I suppose, that day.
Like, what is this?
You all think this face is sweet and innocent, don't you? On your knees, bitch. Yeah. I think it's that thing of sometimes you just get an idea in your head, don't you? And you're like, I can't. It's not leaving, so I've got to go with it. And I don't know where it came from. I think it came from a character in a different book where I thought to myself, if I was writing her story, she'd be a lot more dominant and be a bit more of a control freak and this sort. And then I just was like, it just sort of came into my head and I thought, I quite like the idea of writing that at the moment, actually. So I've just finished obviously Catch and Carry, which is what you're reading, and will be going into editing soon. So that will be out I'm hoping for July. I mean, I never set a date because I like to have a little panic at the last minute and go, no, it's a very right it. But and then this one, it doesn't have a name, but it's she's very much very self-aware of who she is, what she likes and what she doesn't like, and she's about to meet somebody who's a complete opposite and hasn't worked out that she quite likes what the other person is about to offer her. So they're kind of it's going to be, I mean, we may not finish it, but I don't know where it's going, don't know where it's going. I wouldn't say it's erotica because I don't know that I really.
It can be romantic erotica.
But yeah, I think it will definitely be a romance, but it will be more on the erotica kind of darker side of not BDSM, because again, I don't feel like I have the skill set for writing that level, because it's not me. I'm not, and I'm not really into that kind of stuff. So it's like, for me, it's a bit, I don't know, I don't want to not do it justice.
Yeah, or get something wrong, because you know you're going to get
limit how much I want to research on it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, a bit of light spanking I'm good with, but maybe a bit of tying up is all right. But once we get into anything more serious than that, I'm like, no, thank you, this is not for me. And there's plenty of people out there who do it brilliantly, and I say that go and read their work, because you'll enjoy it. But yeah, so it will be a bit. She's a bit more on your knees, bitch type character. And the other one is very much a yes, ma'am, I'll do as you tell me. But like I say, she hasn't worked that out yet. So yeah, we're only 6,000 words in, so it's very, very early stages.
Okay, that sounds good.
But that should be out good. Autumn. If we get that one right, it'll be around.
It's a comfy, cozy read, is what you're telling us.
It is. I like to keep my readers on their toes, and they know this. They may get a murder mystery one book. They may get Scarlet Fever the next book. You know what I mean? They just never know what's coming, and I like it that way. That's kind of my personality. I am a bit playful in that way. You don't know what you're going to get today, do you?
And she looks so sweet and innocent. And then she's killing people, and there's vampires running around.
Exactly. You just never know. So yeah, that's where I am at.
Sounds good.
Which one of your million books are you on?
I've just finished yesterday. I finished my latest whip, which is going to be called The Admiral's Daughter. It's the first one where I've had to do proper research, I'll be honest. So it's based on the Royal Navy, and I had to make sure I got shit right in that. I'm going to put a massive disclaimer at the front of the book that it's still fucking fiction. Anybody who has got anything to do with sailors.
To be fair, I do live next to Portsmouth. If you'd want me to go down and check it out.
Well, the reason why all my family have been in the Royal Navy, I'm the only one who decided not to go. So I wanted to do it justice. I wanted it to be a bit of fun. So I literally just finished the epilogue yesterday. So I'm rereading it today to make sure it's not a trash fire. Then I'm going to send it off to my first beta reading, and I'm going to forget about it because I need to start the second book of the one that Leah has read. That's coming out in 2026. So
2026.
2026. That's how organised she is.
When's it coming out? 2026. What the fuck?
What the fuck, Alex? I was like, really? Whoa.
Are you read it already? Stop complaining.
I know. I am blessed that way.
You've got my novella in July. You've got the erotic tea shop in September. Then you've got my Christmas novella in November. Yeah. Then either it's going to be The Admiral's Daughter or Walk With Me. I don't know which one yet.
It's early 2026. Early 2026. It's no big.
It is early 2026.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, from both of you, we have got some, as readers, we have got some epic books coming our well, your way, because I've obviously read them. But they will be physical copies for me. So we've got a lot to look forward to. Yeah. And we're lucky in this community because there are so many amazing authors. Sometimes I have trouble keeping up with what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, and do you know what I thought about the other day was, I'm never going to live long enough to read all the books I actually want to read.
Yeah. So you better be very picky.
Crap.
Right. And on that note, we've been here for far too long. So I say we wrap this up and we can have a chat afterwards.
All right.
So yeah, we will see you if you're in Nottingham. And if not, we will see you next month. Bye.
Yeah. It'll be a good laugh.